Hey guys, Mythos Gamer, welcome back for turn number 12. Before we get started, we're going to take a quick look at Arkham and move on to our upkeep phase. Nothing's really changed in the downtown area. We still have a sealed gate in Independence Square. Our north side area is still pretty empty. We've got a high priest hanging out in the streets at East Town. Over in Rivertown, we have a sealed gate at the Black Cave and the Graveyard, and Min is delayed at the Graveyard. Over in the Merchant District, we have a sealed gate and a clue token at the Invisited Isle. We have Diana and a fire vampire in the streets. We have a gate at the Unnameable for another dimension, and right now in that gate is Lola. She's in the first area. Next is Miskatonic University. We have a dimensional shambler in the streets. Over in the French Hill, we still have the same ghost at the witch's house, guarding the Great Hall of Salino Gate. Pretty empty over in our south side area. And in Uptown, Joe Diamond is at the woods with a sealed gate. Alright, for our upkeep, we're really not going to do anything this turn. All we're going to do is pass our first player marker from Lola to Min and move on to our movement phase. Our first player this turn, Min, was delayed during the encounter phase last turn, so we will ready her this turn and that will end her movement. Our next investigator is Joe Diamond. He only has one sanity, so he's pretty close to losing his mind. There's really nothing he can do this turn, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to send him to the hospital, just so this will be one turn. We don't have to worry about that virulent disease rumor card we got last Mythos phase. So we're going to move him from the woods to the Uptown Street area and over to St. Mary's Hospital. Because Joe ended his movement at the hospital, we're going to place a Doom token on his investigator sheet. Our third investigator, Diana, is at the Merchant District streets. She is going to attempt to fight the fire vampire. The fire vampire does not cause a horror check. For combat, he has -2 to combat modifier, doing 2 stamina damage. He has physical immunity and the ambush ability. Diana is going to attempt to cast her Storm of Spirits spell with a casting modifier of -1. She has a lore of 6, so she's going to roll 5 die. And she got the success she needed. Storm of Spirits lets her use her lore instead of her fight skill and gives an initial +3. So with her lore of 6 and +3, that puts her at 9. Plus she has the Inner Beast magical effect, give her another +2. That puts her at 11. Because of the Strange Murders Environment card, the fire vampire has a toughness of 3 and the Overwhelming 1 ability. Plus the fire vampire gives -2 to combat. So she's going to roll 9 die and she needs 3 successes. Here are our first 5. And we get all 3 successes. The fire vampire dies, but because it had overwhelming 1, Diana's going to take a stamina damage. That'll bring her down to 5 stamina. Our last investigator, Lola, is going to move further into another dimension. That's it for our movement phase, so we're moving on to our Arkham Encounters phase. Our third investigator, Min, is still at the Graveyard, so we'll draw an encounter card for her. An old-fashioned horse-drawn hearse creaks past on the road, and you just know that something wicked is coming. All undead monsters in Arkham, the outskirts, and the sky move to this location. You must immediately evade or fight them. Wow. There are only 3 monsters on the board right now, and one of them is undead, and that's the ghost. Normally the ghost does not move because it's a yellow monster, and I'm not 100% sure on the ruling for this, but I do believe that because the encounter card says they move there, that the ghost will move to the Graveyard. If someone knows if I'm right or wrong, please leave a comment letting me know. Now that the ghost is there, I think because it has a -3 to sneak, we're going to have to fight it. For combat, the ghost has a -2 modifier to horror checks, doing 2 sanity damage, -3 to combat checks, doing 2 stamina damage, only 1 toughness, but has physical immunity. Min has a will of 4, so we're going to roll 2 die for a horror check. And she did not succeed. So she's going to take 2 sanity damage, bring her down to 2 sanity. For combat, Min is also going to attempt to cast Storm of Spirits. Casting modifier -1. Min has a lore of 4, so she's going to roll 3 die. And she got a success, so she will get to cast her spell. Storm of Spirits lets you use your lore +3 for your combat. And the ghost gives a -3. So Min will roll 4 die for her combat check. And she needs 1 success. And she got the success. So she will kill the ghost and gain it as a monster trophy. This brings her up to 3 monster trophies and 1 gate trophy. Joe Diamond is at St. Mary's Hospital. He's going to use the medical care ability. Instead of having an encounter here, you may recover stamina by receiving medical care. You may either regain 1 stamina for free or pay $2 to restore your stamina to its maximum value. He has 5 stamina out of his maximum of 6, so he's going to get the free one and bring him back up to 6. Diana is still in the streets, so she again will not have an encounter this turn. That's it for Arkham. We're moving on to our other world encounter phase. Because Lola's in another dimension, it doesn't matter what color encounter card we draw. If you have a unique item, nothing happens this turn. If you do not have one, the winds seem to taunt you, mocking your helplessness. Lose 2 sanity. Luckily, Lola does have a unique item. She has 2 unique items. She has her Gladius and the Seeker of the Yellow Sign. She only had 2 sanity, so if she didn't, she would have been knocked out. And now we're moving on to our Mythos phase. Our Mythos card says that we need to place a gate and a monster at the woods. But we lucked out this turn. We already sealed a gate at the woods, so no gate, which means no Doom token this turn. Next, we're going to place a clue token, an independent square. And for monster movement, we have a cross and a moon. We do have a cross monster on the board, the High Priest. He's going to move the direction of the white arrow. He's over in the East Town streets. So he's going to move back down to the Rivertown streets. Basically just patrolling the area. We drew another environment card, Off-Broadway. The performances of the new play, The King in Yellow, are garnering rave reviews. Theater professors at Miskatonic University claim never have heard of it, but nonetheless, the wealthy and influential from all around New England are flocking to see it. The shops have, of course, raised their prices to take advantage of this influx of money. All purchases in Arkham cost $1 more than usual. This isn't too bad. This game we really haven't made very many purchases. I don't think from this point on we're going to, so I'd rather have this out there than have the Strange Murders one that's already affected us. And because it is the end of our Mythos phase, we have to place a clue token on our Virulent Disease rumor card. Well guys, that's the end of our turn. Overall, I think it was pretty good. We didn't add a Doom token to the Doom track, and Lola moved further into another dimension. So we're getting closer and closer. Hopefully, next turn, we could possibly close it and seal it. But as Arkham Horror is, you never know. Anything can happen. So, I will see you guys next time.